Hello everybody, and welcome back to another stream. Today you will be studying math with me because why not? It's gonna be fun. I wanna actually be able to hear myself think, so give me a moment. Whatever that is, not working for me, but it's fine, I'll cope. So first I'm gonna start off with I have an exam this Friday and I need to study for it, but I also need to live stream, so compromise, I guess. And I also have a oral that I have to speak, and that's also gonna be a treat. Okay. Okay. So I have hyperbolas that I need to do, and then these exponential things, and that should be it. There shouldn't be something I need to study, so I'm good on that. It's just gonna be these two. So first thing is hyperbola or hyperbole, I think, I don't know, and it has let's zoom in a bit. So what we see here is the y equals a on x plus q. So the q is going to be what's called an asymptote, and so will be, no, it's only going to be the q. It's going to be your asymptote. So that will be this dotted line that pops up here. Which I think you have only vertical asymptotes.
You deserve non-stop music. Why not let Spotify Premium serve up the music you love to listen to, ad-free and uninterrupted? Better hurry though. 3 months free.
Problem
NC.
fixed. Okay, cool.
And you can cancel anytime.
Just fixed.
Tap the button to learn more.
So yeah, that should be the only thing. And with the asymptote, that's essentially just a line that can never be touched. And so this a is just it's apparently a constant, and it influences the form. So and it can never equal to 0. So when you just gonna write it down here real quick. Y equals a on x plus q, and so what you're gonna want to do essentially, we're gonna go and we're gonna look at this guy over here. This is gonna give us some questions to do, and then we will work from there. So the steps are for us to, we have to decide where the asymptote sits. And then we're going to, so then you find the x tangent, I think it's called it x tangent. the x-intercept. That's what it's called. Anyways, so then you find the x-intercept. After that, you try to find out what is the form. So the form will be, so you find the asymptotes. That is where you essentially just put this x equals to 0, and that will give you this answer, the value of this guy. And then you want the value of this guy, so you're gonna make him a 0, and then you'll find the value of him. Now, if you want to find the value of the form, that will be if you take the two answer or values that you got from the asymptotes, put them in there. No, I think you put one there and then you put the other one there. Put the other one, these two here, and you try to figure out what is the value of this a here. If the a is a positive, this is going to be essentially positive. I think I don't really know that, but we'll figure out how what happens. So then you figure out the form, and then you should use a table method to find 3 other things. So that should be this thing over here. Wonder, do I? No. Okay. So then you just plot 3 extra points using the table method, and that can usually just be done with a calculator, if I can just find mine. Yeah. But let's look at the first example. So it says I need to graph the next graph, or yeah, graph the next graph, and I need to show all of the intercepts and asymptotes. So if function x, let's do a little something here. Okay, so we have paint, and what we are going to just do is we have it gave us this equals minus 3 over x. Oh, that's an awful x. Minus 3 over x, and so this would usually mean a plus q, but since the q isn't there, the actual value of the q, oh boy, the actual value of the q is equal to 0. Equal to 0. So that would mean what we first want to find is we want to find the asymptotes. So to do that, what we are going to be needing to do is we will make this turn the I'm awful at this. I'm going to turn this fx in into a 0 to find the value of the of quickly x equals negative 3 over x. Oh, that's very ugly, but it's fine. No idea. F x, yeah, that works. So we want to find the value of this guy over here, so we're going to make this value equal to 0. So if we do that, then we have 0 equals negative 3 over x. So to get this x alone, we're going to first time or multiply it by x. So that would mean then that x equals negative 3. So that is the value of the first guy. Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, okay, cool. So that would be negative 3 equals x. So now we have found the value of the x asymptote, and that is equal to negative 3. Now what we're going to do, we need to find the value of the y asymptote. So we're going to make this value into 0 and get that guy alone. So that's just going to be if x, oh no, 0, no, my dear Lord. So oh yeah, it'll be just, I'm just gonna do y equals 3 over 0, which is an error, which is going to mean that that's essentially, I think, like a turning point. So essentially this means error, which would mean it's essentially the turning point of something. I'm not quite sure about that, so we're just gonna move on. Then we have to find the x-intercepts. Which is in a graph, the intercepts would be any dots along this line here, and that a okay, so that means what? Huh? Okay, let's see. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing at the moment, so let's just put this into a calculator. That would mean, okay, so fx equals to negative 3 over x, start at negative 5, end at 5 with step 1. Okay, so there's no... Okay, so I did something wrong. Because the answer to this isn't a negative 3. So let's try and figure that out. So, let's see, so... think I know what I did wrong. So if x equals -3 over x plus 0. Okay, so this is if we want to find the y value, so that, or the y asymptote. So no, we already, since there is no y value, if we see here, because usually there's a plus q, but since they've not given that to us, that means the q value is equal to 0, which means that the y asymptote's value is 0. Okay, next up, we need to find the x values asymptote. So y equals, I wonder which one you, sorry, my dad just came in and he brought me an Oreo smoothie. Oh, from McDonald's. He made it himself, because that's things people do, I guess. I don't know. It's delicious though. I forgot I have coffee. Oh, accidentally spit. Okay. So essentially, what I have to do. So if I find, the first thing I need to do is I find the asymptotes. So we have the y asymptote. We need to find the x asymptote. To find the x asymptote, we need to essentially make the q 0, and that would mean, so that would be y. That would be y equals -3 over x plus 0. Now I can't remember, when you turn the value into a 0, is it this one that you turn into 0, or is it this one? I'm not quite sure. I think, yeah, it would be this one, wouldn't it? So let's go 0 equals -3 over x, and then if you were to multiply this, x would go over here, equals -3. Wait, so what is, the math isn't mathing here. Something isn't making sense. So the thing itself says that the value of the x asymptote is equal to 0. Okay, if the q is equal to 0, then the y asymptote is equal to 0. Oh, well, at the moment I'm just trying to find out what is the value of this. Yeah, I'm trying to determine the asymptote of the x, but it's not seeming to make any sense to me. It's supposed to, I think, be 0, but I can't find out why. Like, my brain is just not functioning fast enough for this. Does the mad lad know anything maybe about himself? Yeah, no, that is. I have it on my calculator also over here. I need to almost want to say, I want to be able to work it out from here. And yeah, you're correct. The result should be 1. Negative 2 is going to be 1.5, and negative 1 is going to be 3. I'm trying to I need to be able to do this on my own without the help of my calculator. It's better to understand it that way. And that's a good point. Wait a second. Am I being an idiot? Yeah. No, I don't think so. I'm allowed to use my on the Casio calculator. There is like you can put in a table, and I can do that. So for the function, so I can find the function from there, and I realize now how stupid I've been. Wait a second. Okay. Okay. So next up, you need to yeah, I'm allowed to use the Casio, like a programmable calculator, if that's what you want to know. But next I need to essentially figure out what's the form, but the form is already given to us. It's this 3. So a equals negative 3 or 3, it doesn't really matter. And then from there, all I need to do is I need to graph it. And for that, all I do is enter it into my calculator. 3 over alpha x, okay. And so, where is my, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the y asymptote is on this line here, the x asymptote is on this line here. Then what I need to do is I need to graph 3 points. Or like essentially 3 extra points. So if it is -5, so when x is equal to 0, this would mean that there's a turning point like around here somewhere. But anyways, let's go to, so this is -1 and that goes to 3. So 1, 2, 3, there's 1 point. Then -2 goes to 1.5, so here, and then -3 goes to 1. -4 goes to like here. -5 goes to about here. Then 5 goes literally, wait no, 1 goes to -3. But yeah, so here's the first line. And then, so the second line is going to be here, we just need to graph it. And that'll be, if I go to this should give me the answers. So +1 is at -3, so 1, 2, 3. This is our first point. Then we have 2, that is going to be -1.5, so here. Then we have 3, which is -1. And that's the second line. This Oreo smoothie is delicious. They should sell these things. Anyways. Okay, so quick recap. The y is a recap kind of for me, for you, for everybody, we know. But so this is our y asymptote, because this plus x or plus q that's supposed to be here is not there, which means it's equal to 0, and q is equal to y, which means this is a 0. Then when we make the y, the fx function into a 0, when we turn the fx function into a 0, that's the fx function is also essentially a y. So if we turn that into a 0, our math becomes almost incalculatable, which means that our x asymptote is also 0. The form is equal to 3, or -3, which I don't think matters all that much. And then all I'm gonna have to do is I chuck in a value here if I want to make a table of contents for it. So just to quickly show you what the calculator does for me when I do it, is essentially it says, okay, function of this equals to -3 over, and then it will put in a 1, and I'll say, okay, -3 over 1, so that is just -3. So when x is at 1, the y is at -3. That's essentially what it is. If it were to put a 2 here, -3 over 2, that is like 0.6. So then if x would be equal to or 0.66 equal to -0.66. That is an awful 6. Anyways, and if they were to make this negative, these two would cancel each other out. So then if x would be equal to just 0.66. I'm not quite sure either, my friend. I'm not going to lie to you. The form is what like it's what said is like it. Let me quickly find the English word for this. It determines how much your shape is going to change, essentially. So if this, where is my mouse? Here. So if this, where is, holy crap? Okay. Is there a hotkey for the select? Anyways, so if this form were to hypothetically be, let's say negative, were to be negative 2 over x, this would determine what the parabola or hyperbola or whatever looks like. Just, yeah, that's about it. Anyways, so let's remove all of this, and I'll go into the next example that sum that I've given me. So the next one is f, oh my word, f x equals to equals to 2 over x plus 1. Okay. So once again, let's determine everything. Next up, so what we first want to do is we're going to determine the x and y asymptotes. So y and x. So to determine the y asymptote, we need to make x into 0. So I already can see the answer, but let's just do it for safety shape. Yeah, it determines how sharp the curve is. You are correct. Yeah, that's about it. So to determine y, it's going to just be f x equals to 2 over 0 plus 1. And since this is not a possible thing, that means just that this essentially cancels out and fx is equal to 1. Y should be 0 and x should be 1. We're gonna see that. It seems like it, yes. But we're gonna see. So what you've seen here is, okay, y is equal to, no, wait a second. No, y is not gonna be 0. Y should be, is going to be equal to 1, I think. I don't know, it might be, it should be. I don't know, I'm an idiot. Okay, y is... Okay, so x's asymptote is equal to 0. And I'm guessing y's is going to be equal to 1. No. Are they both the 0? This doesn't make sense. Chat, make it make sense. It's not making sense.
It's your turn to get on the pulse with MTN Pulse Teens, a platform for the youth that plugs you with exclusive offers and dope experiences to get you doing more of what you love. Download the MTN app or dial *411# to get on MTN Pulse Teens and start doing. MTN, what are we doing today?
Okay,
You deserve non-stop music.
so
Why not let Spotify Premium serve up the music you
yeah,
love to listen to?
you're correct.
Ad-free
No,
and
it's flipped.
uninterrupted.
So x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. That's what it is. Okay, so I was not wrong and I'm not crazy. Wonderful. So yes, this is what it is. Because what happens is when this is an undefinable, this is essentially the way I see it is it cancels itself out and the 1 remains, and fx is basically y, and so if fx is equal to +1, then y is going to be equal to 1. So, and then if we were to make the fx into 0, and we go 2 over x plus 1, we're going to take the 1 over to here, so it's going to be -1 equals to 2 over x. We're going to times it by x. Oh, but because this is an undefinable, is it possible? Let's see. What does 2 over x equal to? Okay, but I'm guessing because this guy, we don't know the value of this, and so yeah, it doesn't sound right, I know, but I don't know. I have this form thing. Let me show you. So if we were to look at that, it shows right here that these are the asymptotes, and the zeros x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. It's very weird, I know, but I'm gonna ask my math teacher tomorrow, just one more time, because it seems to make sense. I'm just gonna mark this as something that just can't happen, and so therefore it's an undefinable. And if it's an undefinable, the asymptote is 0. That's just how I'm gonna work it from now, because otherwise I'm going to cry. The form is then. The form is equal to 2 because this is our form. Because the fx over, yeah, whatever. And so if we have this, we've done the first 3 steps. Then we just need to graph it. And so we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we're just going to do now, since there is no asymptote, oh no, there is, because the asymptote is here. So we're going to work from here. And so that would mean that if we take this, now I've entered it just into my calculator, so I'm not going to struggle my ass off with this. So our curving point is, so -1 on x is equal to -1 on y. So it's going to be here. Then -2 on x is equal to 0. So it's over here. Then -3 is equal to 3 through 33, so it's going to be like somewhere around here. And that would mean that our point runs like this. Then what we're going to do is going to graph the other one, and that would just mean that we're going to go over to the positive side. So 1 equals 3. Wait, that doesn't make any sense, but it's fine. 1 equals 3. 2 equals 2. So 2 equals 2. And then 3 equals 1.66666. So it's somewhere around here, and our graph runs along this. Asymptotes, for those of you who are wondering, are just a line that never gets touched. So when you enter this on the graph, you will notice that this is the lowest point it will go. It's not going to be going lower. Okay. I feel like a teacher, even though I don't know what I'm doing. After that, what will be happening is we're going to be going over to this exponential function. Okay. So what we have to do on exponential functions we give me a moment to write everything down. So you find, you determine the asymptotes. Oh no, you just determine the asymptote, because there's only one on the exponential things, and it is, give me a moment. Okay, there's only one asymptote every time. This dotted line here, that is your asymptote, and that is always going to only be a y value. There's never going to be an x value that is an asymptote. So, okay, so you determine the asymptote. Then you have to find the x and y tangents. After that, you are going to find the form. And you're going to determine 2 extra plot points. Okay. So, fx equals to y equals a times b to the power of x plus q. So a is your form still. Okay. This is going to be extremely painful, but hey, it'll be fine. So if we were to look at example 1, example 1 gives me this. So I selected brushes. If x equals 3 to the power of x. So that would mean that if we want, what we need to do is first we have to find the asymptotes. So to do that you have to make, so 0 equals 3x. So I'm guessing that since this seems like an indefinable, yeah, the y asymptote is equal to, oh wait, what's that x asymptote's value? Oh yeah, I only have to find the, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, because the asymptote is only the y asymptote, which means I make this guy a 0 and anything, so that would mean that if we were to go and say, okay, if x equals to 3 to the power of 0, that would result in y equaling to 1, because anything to the power of 0 equals 1. That's math for you. Okay. That's not what I meant to do. So y equals to 0. Now we need to determine the x tangent. Wait. Why is the y asymptote equal to 0? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I'm completely wrong again. So the y asymptote is equal to 0 because with this it is essentially a times b to the power of, or not a times b, but it is I think it's just a to the power of x plus q. Now since they've already given us a value of this, which is once again just a 0 because there's nothing to plus here, so that is why the asymptote is equal to 0. But when you find the tangent, if I want to find the y tangent, I have to put the x into 0. If I want to find the x tangent, I need to put the y into 0. So y equals, or the y tangent equals to 3 to the power of 0, and that is equal to 1 because anything to the power of 0 is 1. So therefore y, or fx, is equal to 1. Next we need to find the x tangent, which is going to be 0 equals 3x, and I don't know what to do here. What is the value of x? Okay, so apparently there isn't an x tangent if y is equal to 0. So that would mean just that it is also equal to 0. So x is equal to 0. Now we need to graph it. So 3 to the power of x. And then we need to find 2 extra plot points as well. Can't believe I've also actually gotten through all of this in almost under an hour, which is amazing, by the way. It usually takes me a couple of hours just to do a little bit of this. That's probably because I'm not actually focusing on that and more watching House. Anyways, so we have 0 over here. This is our y-axis, x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm just going to I'm gonna graph -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So -2 sits at, so if we were to go to -2x, -2, then we have to go up 0.1, so it will be about there for y. Okay. Then our next one is -1, which is going to be, so it's -1, but it goes up even a smaller bit, and that is equal to 0.333333. Okay, so this is equal to 0.1 continuous. This is equal to 0.3 continuous. Next one is going to be, so 0 equals to 1. And so this is our line that just goes up like that, because 0 is then, this is, like I said, 0 is equal to 1, 1 is equal to 3, so then 1 is equal to 3, and 2 is equal to, oh crap, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this is a steep one. 3 is equal to 27. 27. Okay, so this is just a very, very steep line, essentially. So it goes like this. Well, yeah, like that. And so these are both continuous forever and ever and ever till they lived happily ever after. Okay. Next example. If, okay, I'm not in edit for like 2 seconds, that would be very appreciated. Fx equals 1 over 2 to the power of x minus 2. Okay. Yo, Osh Dub with the fire. With the fire, bros. He has the fire in. Anyways. So once again, we need to find first the asymptote. But since this is exponential functions, what we're going to do is y. Oh my so, y is equal to whatever. So to find y, what we need to do is say, okay, y equals 1 over 2. We need to make x a 0 minus 2. And now, since I'm an idiot, once again, we've already been given the asymptote and it's this. I'm just a moron. That's all. I keep on forgetting that they already give you the asymptote. It feels too easy, considering I literally figured out how to do this like maybe a week ago. And we've been doing this for about, like in school, for about 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even longer. So the fact that I'm finally figuring these things out feels too easy to me, when like it's just given to you. Anyways, the y asymptote is equal to -2. Then what we need to do is you need to find the y tangent and the x tangent. So to find the y tangent, you have to make x into 0. So if x equals 1 over 2, the x you need to make a 0 minus 2. So this would mean that, okay, anything to the power of 0 equals to 1. So if x equals to 1 minus 2, so if x is equal to negative 1, or not fx, but the y tangent. I'm not going to make myself overly complicated like this. This is the y tangent for anybody that's confused. Incredible writing. Then the x tangent is just going to be 0 equals 1 over 2 x minus 2. So it's going to bring this over. So 2 is equal to 1 over 2 to the power of x. When we do that, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply, I think. No. Yes. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2, which means 4 equals to 1x, I think. And then, no. Something's wrong. I think I did something wrong. Okay, so okay, I see what they did. Interesting. Okay, so I figured it out. I click select, yeah? I click the select button, and then it just doesn't select. It just decides that, you know what, I'm not going to select. So you know what I'm gonna do to compensate for my stress? I'm gonna drink coffee. Gorgeous, absolutely fire, my boys. Anyways, so what they did is they said, okay, 0 is equal to 1 over 2 to the power of x minus 2. What they then did is they brought this guy over, holy crap, over to this side. So that means 2 is equal to 1 over 2 to the power of x. But what they did to essentially get these two, or for this to make sense, is they made this x a negative, which means it removes this little guy over here. So what they did is then they said, okay, 2 is equal to 2 to the power of negative x. And now, since our base values are the same, both are 2, that means that if 2 is to the power of, this 2 is going to be to the power of 1. So if our base value is the same, we can just work with to the power numbers, essentially. So that would mean that since this side's power is to the power of 1, x is equal to 1. Is it x or is it negative x? I think it's... Actually, let's see. Because I'm thinking since this is a negative x, we can't allow this to be a negative x, so we have to divide it by negative 1. Which means that negative 1 is equal to x. Okay. So x is equal to apparently negative 1, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, x is equal to negative 1. And from there, then we can just plot the points. So, if we were to once again graph this, oh crap, I'm bad at drawing lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will make a better Dora than Dora the Explorer herself. Watch me. Nay. Anyways. Now, for this, I can just either... So, the table method that is spoken of is that I enter a value into this, and that basically makes things funny. It's fancy. So our y asymptote is -2. So 1, 2. So our asymptote is going to be here. But since I think this guy's a positive, the line is going to be above it, going something like this. So we'll see. And x can go from like apparently -1 to +1. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. We're gonna whip a nay on these nerds. But from there I just enter this into my calculator, because I will not be sitting and figuring this out on my own. Who do you think I am? A nerd? No, I would not. No. Anyways, we are going to say 1/2 to the power of x. That is -2 plus 2 minus 2. Okay, let's go to 0. So when x is on 0, no, -2. So let's go to -2x. So 1, 2. This is -2. -2 in then. So here, this is our first plot point. Then our second plot point is -1 is 0. So this. Then 1 or 0 is equal to -1. So 0, -1 over here. 1 is equal to -0.5. So it'll be like here. Then 2 is equal to -1.5. So it'll be something like this. And then what's going to happen is the line's going to straighten out and it'll go something like that. And that's exponential forms. Damn, I got through that quicker than I expected. Oh, that was actually kind of fun. I don't know if something's wrong with me. But I just did about an hour's worth, or 3 or 4 hours worth of study in an hour. Which I think is a pretty cool superpower, if you ask, if I do say so myself. Next up, I have an oral that's going to be happening. And for that, what will be happening is I'm going to be talking about a little guy named Batman. Slow. Here we go. Okay. Feels so weird to have, because I slowed down the speed of which my like mouse goes so that I can draw better on the screen, and now I got used to it and it's not working for me. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I wanna research for Batman. Let's make a list, because lists are cool, lists are fun, lists are for the nerds. Anyways, okay, so Batman, like what I found, has actually a really interesting story line behind him. But it's not like Oh yeah, his parents died. Yay. Well, not yay, but it isn't what we think it is. He has a very deep, almost dark, very, very dark backstory. Well, not very dark. That's not. No, I'm an idiot. Give me like 5 seconds. Here we go. Something ain't making sense. Chat, help. Okay. Apparently it's too dark, so let's just do this. No, I don't want to do that. This is a very professional stream. I know exactly what I'm doing with my life, apparently. But so the idea that I wanna get behind it is because so he and Joker has a very interesting dynamic. There's this thing called the yin and yang, and so it is literally it's a. Let's quickly do this. Yin and yang. So this guy, yeah, it's very complementary in especially Chinese philosophy, but in a way, it almost represents, I want to say, like a difference between chaos and order. So, yes, you're getting the Batman part of Math versus Batman. You are very, very correct, my good sir. So we were to essentially what this just means is that you need within good there is bad, and within bad there is good, or within essentially I think in a way it represents almost a form of balance, and that creates a very interesting idea when you incorporate it into what Batman does. Because if we were to say, okay, Batman is the force of good, Joker is the force of bad. Okay? Batman is a creature of pure determination. Pure determination, he wants his control, his order, his determination, he's essentially what he's order. He controls. I don't know control, but people fear him essentially. Now, when it comes to the fear part, it would probably represent this. But within, I think what this also means is that good has the capability to be evil, and evil has the capability to be good. So if you were to take away the bad of this yin and yang. So if you were to take away Joker and his chaos, and you were to only leave order around, order may seem like a good thing, it may seem, but once it becomes too much, you get something like a dictatorship or authoritarianism or something, and that is shown when there's a Batman show where the main Batman meets a different universe Batman, and he what's this? Ooh. That's what's supposed to happen. So it's okay. Like I've lost my thought process. Wait a second. So it's a dictatorship. It's pure order, and that's not a good thing. So bad has the good has the capability to be evil. The capacity. It is able to do bad, and when you look at, if you were to remove the bad from everything, or the good, essentially. Now I'll go. Wait, no. So essentially, okay. Thought process is being gathered. Just give me a moment. I just need to get the code for something real quick. Okay. So there's a couple different parts to this, okay? So first we have just the yin and yang in general, and this leads to a couple of different things. Batman, which equals to order, versus the Joker, that is equal to chaos. Okay? So if you were to essentially take order away, you would have pure chaos, which is anarchy. Anarchy is bad for a number of reasons. Why anarchy is bad for the country and alive? What's the problem with anarchism? Often portrayed as dangerous violence due to many number of high-profile violent acts including riots, assassinations, insurrections involving anarchists. So it's not a good thing. It does not end well for anybody. So that is what makes it bad. I mean, if the people who were anarchists were people with self-control and weren't like that was put here, that it doesn't involve violent and like assassinations and just in general violence, I couldn't see it being that bad, considering that it basically just it's an almost extremist form of free will, which is, I don't think, that bad, as long as everybody still doesn't like enforce violent acts upon another person or upon some there's various minor details and probably a gray area there that can be explored, and it could be really cool, but it's, in general, anarchy is awful, especially when you have somebody like the Joker. If you have too much order, yeah. So there is a story where Batman just becomes a dictator. But yeah, fine. Okay. So yeah, Batman has been a dictator before, and so that is just essentially what happens when Batman becomes, or when chaos is taken out of the equation. And so what this yin and yang represents is that we need a balance in life. With a balance in life, there's a balance for everything. If you were to look at, let's say, if we were to, for example, take pleasure, there's a ton of philosophical views behind it. I think hedonism, stoicism. I can't remember the other ones. Give me a moment. Epicureanism. So, but just. So, wait a second, my music stopped a while ago. No. Let's play this one. Damn, bro doesn't like stoicism. Oh, the poor stoicisms. Why does my boy hate stoicism? Anyways, it's different, like I said, ideas between, or different beliefs of philosophy. But what I think is that all of these beliefs of philosophy, from hedonism to stoicism to pragmatism to Machiavellianism to whatever, most of those aren't even to do with the pleasure I've been talking about. But I think it's when I'm talking about pleasure, I'm talking about instant gratification versus delayed gratification. So I think it's Epicureanism or something like that, that is talking about essentially being the pleasure of being self-content and everything. It's the way of life, where hedonism is anything that that is instantly pleasurable. Delayed gratification isn't anything as a part of it. And so I think you need a good balance of it. So a good balance. So it would be like the way you eat your food. Fun fact, actually, this food pyramid, I didn't recognize the difference between white bread and whole bread. This isn't an actual thing. Here we are. It's completely flawed. So, yeah, it's flawed. It's a crazy thing, I know, but you still need a good balance of it all. You can't. Okay, granted, you can. In some cases, you can go only vegetarian, or you can go only as a meat eater. But if you were to look into it, that doesn't work always. Not for everybody, but in general, it doesn't work. Going to the extremes for most things doesn't always work. And most times I think, okay, so interesting. So you need to give a balance between your food. You can't just eat. Shouldn't just eat vegetarian. You shouldn't just eat meat. You should do a good mixture of the two. Get all of your nutrients in. I don't know. Was Nietzsche a stoicism writer? Wait a second. I could have sworn. No. Damn. There's a very okay. So he didn't like stoicism. Okay, that is a very interesting thing. Holy, okay, I didn't know that. I could have, but the way he acted, I could have sworn he was one. That is interesting. That's definitely an extremely interesting idea or fact. But back to it. You need to balance things out. So you need a little bit of instant gratification, you need some delayed gratification. The issue is that you can't only do instant gratification. Sometimes you can allow yourself to impulse buy that chocolate. That's okay. but you need to
Choose your
almost
own offline
have
listening
control
adventure.
of
Spotify
when you
Premium
impulse buy it.
lets you download and
if that's
take
so.
your
You shouldn't
music
every time
on
you
the
walk
go.
past the counter like, ooh,
Try
chocolate,
3
and grab
free
it.
months of Premium
shouldn't do
now
that.
and
You should
cancel
wait,
anytime.
maybe-
Tap the
So
banner to learn more.
it's still a way of delayed gratification, but also not. It's kind of a weird, contradictory paradoxal thing. Anyways, the yin and yang also gives the idea of of balance in life. The other thing of Batman is his, well, in this case, is the capacity for bad or the capacity for good. So if we were to look like, there's a lot of stories like he became a villain, and chances are good that is when he decided that, okay, this time he's gonna kill, and that plays perfectly into his Batman does not kill thing. Batman does not kill, and for good reason, because I don't think there's it's Constantin, Lady Lysandra. What's good, Lady Lysandra? Have you said hi to Oshdup? He brought the fire. Anyways, I'm a funny person. Related. So, where was my thought process? Okay, so yeah, Batman does not kill, and when you've seen like the different places where he has killed, it doesn't end well. It becomes a dictatorship because he forcibly removes chaos, and to remove chaos is not something you should ever do, because messing with chaos just doesn't end well. Oh yeah, and so my brain is going to be all over the place. So with just going to quickly come back to the balancing life thing. With when the yin and yang is in balance. Oh, why, bro? No. No. Enjoy whatever you're gonna do, or stoop, my boy. You have to enjoy your day, my boy. Anyways, so when these two are in a balance, what it can be seen as is just two essentially like fish-like creatures just chasing each other around and having some fun. So how that incorporates into here is almost also a control, because if you go too far at either end of the spectrum, once again, even in the show, it I forgot it's called, creates, so it says this whole balance energy thing. Anyway, so even with this, if we were to just take Joker out of the equation, I think honestly Batman would lose his mind. Like if we were to take all of chaos out of the world in the story of Batman, let's just get Batman here too. When I'm starting to talk about him. Not the movie, just an image. Yeah, this works. Anyways. So if you were to have him be the only remaining thing, he would start, I think, to just almost lose his mind. Because the thing is that when you look at Batman, Bruce Wayne isn't Batman. Batman isn't Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Let me quickly find it. in life knows basically true when it comes to his relationship, but Batman doesn't exist. So, Bruce Wayne doesn't exist. He isn't a guy, like, Batman isn't Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman. If I can first find... Yeah, here. The lasso of truth is a thing where if you touch it, you will only tell the truth. So when they touched it, they needed to say their names, okay? So we have Diana of Themyscira, daughter of Queen Hippolyta, Clark Kent or Kal-El, and then Batman. So Bruce Wayne doesn't exist. And what is Batman? He's a symbol of fear. He has a war on crime. So what would happen when that war on crime isn't there? He loses his mind. I mean, I could be wrong. If somebody wants to correct me, feel free to do it. But I can see no other way that he goes. So that creates an interesting balance, and that's why you need to control it. And the other thing is that chaos is also needed because of, if we were to look at something called the necessary evil. If theft the necessary evils are there to give you or make you understand the value of things. And that is why there are storms, rainy days, why you have things like sadness, pain, death, anything bad. And if we were to look at the images real quick, see, positive sun, light, heaven, active fire, and cold. It isn't that it's bad. It's not. It doesn't end well for anybody. So Yang is positive. You need positive things because, well, people want to be positive, not negative. And that's when you have things like the sun, light, heaven, active fire, good things. But in order for us to realize those are good things, we need negative. Where there's when we are having a cool, hot summer day, there's always the cold that make us appreciate the summers. Or when we have, let's say, something else. So when death makes us appreciate life. Essentially, even if you were to look at something like bullying, if there was no bullies ever, and I'm not condoning bullying or condoning it, it's not a good thing even in the slightest. There's there's nothing good about it. Well, there is, but if we're not talking in a philosophical sense, if we're just going to talk in general rationality, it isn't a good, or empirical too, it isn't a good thing. Hurting another person, not a good thing. But it is useful because it teaches people resilience. So if I hypothetically were to be getting bullied, I can teach myself, okay, I shouldn't get bullied. I can maybe teach myself how to fight. I can teach myself to stand up for myself. I can teach myself, or I can learn self-confidence. It is something to do with the Darwinianness of it all. So a decent modification. The idea that species change over time and give rise to new species and share common ancestor. Theory of natural selection. So essentially it plays perfectly into Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. I cannot speak anymore. So it talks right into his theory of natural selection, where something that is good usually lives, or the good gives something advantage, something that is better than the other thing, it'll live on. So if we were to not exist, like if there was no chaos or pain in this world, then we would have died out as a species a long time ago, because pain is what makes people adapt. So if you were to look like, just take something like exercise, for example. Exercise is a painful thing. Pain is chaos. So the pain when we exercise makes our muscles grow stronger. The muscle fibers are stretched, they regrow, and they've adapted to be stronger to be able to lift that weight. And if we were to look, the people that are stronger generally have a better chance of surviving. They have a better immune system generally. If we're not talking about people who are like, I'm going to talk about like that healthy, like 10 to 15% body fat thing. Like healthy is about, I think, 18% body fat, and like pretty good in like where abs start to show is at around 15% body fat. And so if you were to go in between that 10 to 15% body fat percentage, that is essentially where it's mostly healthy. That means you eat enough, you exercise enough, you don't exercise too much, and you don't eat too little, you don't eat too much, you don't exercise too much generally. Like, actually, unironically enough, that works perfectly. So, look at exercise. If we took the yin and yang of exercise, you would have yin and yang of exercise. When you exercise, it's painful, it sucks, that's chaos, it's chaotic, it's not fun. But after a while, we build a muscle, which to get stronger, which is good. Now these two are living well into balance. We have some pain, which creates some pleasure, and these two things then just are two essentially fishes that are just chasing each other around and having fun. But where I think these two would apply is that this bad has that capacity for good, and that is which shakes over to this. But this good has the capacity for bad, and if you train too much, or you train more, so you get more of this. But if you have too much of this, almost wonder actually. That's an interesting. Okay, I'm gonna quickly just take some time into this. Okay, so
Spotify Premium lets you listen to your favorite music without ads, so you can keep the energy going all day long. Don't miss out on 3 months free. Cancel anytime. Tap the banner to learn more.